Good morning. I'll talk to you guys today about insurance, homeowners insurance. There's a bit of a little perturbed at the moment. Two personal stories that are recent. One comes about because I've got this house in Arizona. My uncle had bought it. And then he had passed on, and my mom had it, and then she passed like a year and a half ago, and now I've taken over, paying for it, keeping it going. We had some different ideas. I've got a sister, but there's a thing there, and I'm probably going to end up moving into it myself at some point here. Now, my mom, when she acquired it, the house was not paid for, and there was this usually goes a lot smoother. I gotta do something with all this crap. So she had this overinflated insurance, right? It's like when you buy a new car, you have to get all this crazy coverage. So there was a second house that was paid for, that people were renting, and they decided they wanted to buy it, so they did. And this was just months before my mom passed. She was able to get in the black, so she was able to sell that house, pay off her car, pay off the house, which was awesome. Problem is, she paid the house off, but she didn't redo the insurance, so there was an overly inflated insurance rate happening. And when my mom died, my sister came in and was, taking care of paying the bills and everything. Had a joint account with my mom. So my sister wasn't on it, but she had the information. She made the payments from the money that was left in that account for the last year and a half. And then over the last few months, I've been taking over all of the, all the bills are coming to me now. I'm just paying all the bills. So I didn't know. I didn't know what the rate was for the insurance. I just let my sister take care of it. I have other things to think about. I've been really busy working and blah, blah, blah. So it came time to deal with the insurance. And I called them because they actually upped it. They upped the amount what the house was worth, and they upped the insurance amount. I think it went over $200 a month or something like that. It was absolutely ridiculous. And I called them because I looked at the house. The house was built in like 2000, and I look at the roof on it, and it's still the original roof, it looks like to me. And I can see that roof's going to need to be replaced. So I'm thinking, the house has got homeowners insurance on it. It's been on there, right? Forever. My mom, my uncle, my mom both paid the highest rates there are. So I said, let me see if that's covered. And they said, no, it's not covered. If something happens, like there's a windstorm or something like that, and some shingles blow off the roof and that causes a leak or something like that, that's covered. So there's no preventive maintenance coverage, right? If you need a new roof, you notice you need a new roof, that's up to you. You got to pay to do your roof. If you don't do it, and you end up with damage, right, then they'll cover it. And even then, that's a thing, right? You're not even sure. So since they weren't going to cover the roof, I said, well, I'm going to look for better insurance. I have USAA. I've never been to the VA. That's a whole other long story. But I don't have insurance as far as like health insurance or anything like that. My health insurance is keeping my stress levels down, getting enough sleep, getting some exercise regularly, eating real food, and that means meat and fat, like real fat, like cheese and butter and meat with fat on it. The fat coming from that source does not turn into fat in your body. That's pure energy, and it's what your brain needs and everything else. That's why my mind works here. It's trying to stay away from the sugar, all the stuff. That to me, that's my insurance, all right? And it's been working so far. But you need vehicle insurance. Another story I learned, the one thing I get from having been a Marine is that I qualified to be able to get USAA insurance. And they've been pretty good to me. I had a van, I had the cargo van. It was a 2005 Chevy Astro van. Drove that across the country. It was two-wheel drive. And I think it was 2018. It got stolen from the Long Beach Marina. And I was all geared up. I was getting ready to go on a trip to Colorado to do this thing called Pearl Pass. Steel Pass? Pearl Pass. And on a clunker. One of my clunkers that I build. You guys have seen the bicycles. So I had this really bitchin' bike in there and some of my tools because I was working and a bunch of gear to survive, you know, because I was going to be living out of the van. And the van got stolen, and that's when I learned that the things in your van are not covered by the insurance. You have to have renter's insurance to cover the stuff in your vehicle. And I didn't have the greatest insurance. So like the money that I got out of that, you know, wasn't enough to cover everything I put into the van. So that's when I learned. It's like, okay, well, I'm definitely getting renter's insurance because I live in the city. That could always happen again. And even though when I was younger, I always viewed insurance as legalized extortion, right? Because you're forced to have it, although you may never need it. I was like, oh, well, this makes sense to me. You know, I should just do it. And so that's what I do. Now I have much better insurance on the vehicle. I have much better renter's insurance. I recently added something with USAA because I went to them for the house in Arizona, and it turns out I was able to get insurance on the house for like $89. I think it's $85 a month. That's what it is. The last bill is $85 a month. It's less than $1,000 a year, and with good coverage. Very happy about that. But now we get to this roof situation. So I use this workshop here. This house behind you, you can't see it. You've seen it in clips before. Is owned by these great people. I love these people. They're an elderly couple. They're like my adopted parents. And you've seen the videos before, I'm sure. I've done a lot of the furniture in their house. When they got this house, it was kind of in a shambles. It needed a lot of work. That whole story is a pretty good story. I should tell sometime, but just to make it brief, they had this handyman contractor company come in, and they were doing all this work on this house. I knew a couple of guys doing it, and the work was horrible. And I came in to do one thing. I was the only guy who came in, did what I said I was going to do, did it perfectly. And weeks after I installed it, they called me, and he wanted my advice. And I knew what he was going to ask me, and my advice was, yeah, fire them. You need somebody else. And they asked if I would take the project on. The house was supposed to be ready for them to move into, and it wasn't. And they were already moved into it, and they were literally living out of boxes with plastic on everything, and nothing was done. I mean, there was holes in the walls. It was a horrible situation. So I came in and saved the day. Came here every day. And I patched all the walls, and I painted all the rooms, and there's some good, the haunting stuff happens here. This blue crayon would appear on the ceiling, and it still appears on the wall sometimes. It appears on the side of the car. Bizarre blue crayon out of the blue. It's a whole other story, but maybe we'll talk about that another time. Anyhow, did all the work for them. These were the first people, you know, around 2000 to really trust me and give me money for real furniture. I always knew I could do it. I was doing it. But they were the people who funded me to really take my ability to the next level. So I respect and love these people. And then 2007, 2008, I lost my workshop, and they let me use this garage space. So it's great. So I care about them, and I do things for them. And they still want to pay me to do jobs sometimes when I have a break between what I'm always doing for everybody else. And every day I'm always doing something for them. So it's great. It's a symbiotic relationship. I love them. They've been having an issue. They've had some leaks last season, coming into this season. They've been trying to deal with the situation. I told them, well, if I have the time, I'll try to do the ceiling work for you, but it is hard for me to get to it now because I'm busy with higher paying jobs and I almost never have any time. But we have to solve the roof problem first. They've been getting it patched, and then they had some roofers come over, tell them that they need a new roof. And I finally got up there and looked at it, and I said, well, yeah, this is bad. It's 80% of this roof is a flat roof, and it's worn through. Like there's no more of the pebbling, and you can see the fiberglass coming through the paper that the little stony things are glued to. It needs to be replaced or covered with another roof. And it hit me because I just did the skylight and there was insurance stuff going on with that and everything else. And I said, well, if it needs a new roof, if it leaked and damage has been caused, as I was told by my insurance company for the house I have in Arizona, well, then that's covered. This is the house. This is the roof that was on the house when they bought the house. So they were excited about that. They had gotten a couple different roofing companies to come by and give them quotes, and also roofers that are not necessarily licensed or bonded or anything. And that's not always a bad idea. You can save some money, but when it comes to your roof, you have to be careful with that, because if there is a leak or something, it's there's not a guarantee with that. Like, you're kind of better off going with a company that has a reputation and they're bonded and everything. Anyhow, the insurance assessor came over and took something like 400 pictures, the whole roof, the inside, the damage, everything else, and they were told it's not covered. They've been paying top dollar insurance here in Los Angeles since they bought the house in like '98. This is the roof that was on the house when they bought the house. It's worn through. It's caused leaks in the hallway, the ceiling's coming down in one of the bedrooms and one of the other. There's 3 full bathrooms in this house, and there's a bathroom off this office, and it leaked there as well. And it's not covered. This is an elderly couple on a fixed income. They don't work. They haven't worked in years. Health isn't great. I feel for these people. I love them. And the insurance they've been paying for decades is not going to pay to fix the roof. And it's going to be a minimum of 10 grand. It's probably going to be a lot more. It might be twice that. If they have to replace the roof and not go over it, it's going to be astronomical. And these people have to come up with the coin for this. Then they made investments, and they're going to have to cover it, but they're not happy about it. Right? You wouldn't be happy about it. I'm certainly not happy about it. So this is the thing that bugs me about insurance companies, because the way that they make money is charging everybody super high premiums and then delaying or not paying for the people that actually need it. And that just bothers me, and I don't know enough about it. So there's a conundrum here. This is not a video where I'm giving you like my best advice on it or anything else, but what the what is that, man? I thought for sure the insurance company would cover that. So I'm sure I'll get some comments telling me I'm dumb and I don't know enough, and I'm totally ignorant on the subject. Right? I never had to have homeowners insurance before. I'm hoping that the homeowners insurance I have now on my house will cover anything. Luckily, the house, was built in 2000, the one I have in Arizona, and all the appliances are new and water heater's new. Everything's new in there, so I don't anticipate any issues other than the roof. And I'm just going to have to take care of that myself, I suppose. But are you guys dealing with this? I'm sure a lot of you have horrible stories with insurance companies. What's up with this, man? What is this? This is a terrible thing. Especially if you're elderly. I mean, they didn't even. Here's the thing, though. It's my fault if they're upset because I got their hopes up. They hadn't even thought to call their homeowners insurance, which is another crazy thing. You write a check every month or quarterly, whatever it is, however you pay your insurance. You just do that automatically. And then something goes wrong. How many of you even think to call and check your homeowner's insurance policy to see whether or not it's covered? That's another thing. A lot of people just pay for things out of pocket that might actually be covered by their insurance. So, you got to just know what's going on. Anyhow, I just wanted to bring this up as a subject matter because I'm perturbed by it. And now I've got to do some math and figure out what I'm going to order for these plates for this project for the hinges and keep working. So you guys have a good day. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Bye.